Parker and Donovan are in a virtual reality system, and they have been given the objective of hunting down a programmed serial killer, Sid. In the world of virtual reality, both Parker and Donovan are having a hard time finding Sid, but Parker is a smart man and he is highly skillful in knowing what criminals are up to. Parker and Donovan go to the nearest Chinese restaurant and they come across several Chinese virtual reality models. Parker tries to locate the one who is acting like a real human being. Parker ends up finding Sid and begins shooting him. Sid is an extremely strong virtual reality model and he puts Donovan down with ease. Parker and Sid engage in a long battle, and before Sid could strike the final blow, Parker is brought out of the simulated reality system. The entire system gets overloaded, and the neural sensor of both Parker and Donovan begin to escalate, sending both of them into electric shock. Parker is able to get out of the machine, but Donovan ends up losing his life to the shock. The entire virtual reality system was created to train the law enforcement employees, and prisoners like Parker are being used to test this system. After witnessing the death of Donovan and seeing that the safety feature of the system didn't work in time to save him, Director Elizabeth, the project overseer, orders the project to be shut down immediately. Billy, who used to be an old associate of Parker, is surprised to learn that Parker had studied Sid in just a short amount of time. Parker tells him that Sid used electrocution to harm him and Donovan, which is why they went in shock and the system almost broke down. The surprising thing is that electrocution was not in the arsenal of Sid. Just when Parker gets close to the system to show Billy how he found out about Sid's weapons menu, Daryl, who is one of the people working on the project, stops Parker from getting close to the system. Billy is helping Parker in serving his prison time and is trying to get him out. Parker is aware that he is being used as a guinea pig for this project and he will do anything to get out of prison. As Parker returns to the prison, he gets into a long fight with another prisoner. Parker is able to put down the prisoner with his effective combat skills. Daryl begins to have a conversation with Sid. Sid is way too smart as a virtual reality model and he questions everything. Daryl has made up some evil plans in his mind as well and he wants to implement Sid in those plans. Upon telling Sid that he can't exist without the hardware of the virtual reality system, Sid educates Daryl on how he can be separated from the system he is in. Parker meets Dr. Carter, who is a criminal psychologist. She is given the task of performing an independent psychological evaluation on Parker that could help Parker in reducing his prison time. Carter asks Parker some questions regarding his fight with another prisoner. Parker claims that he was just defending himself. Carter is aware that Parker used to be a renowned police officer. He lost his wife and daughter, who were killed by a political terrorist named Grimes. Parker ended up taking out Grimes, but his actions also led to the killing of several innocent people, causing him to serve many years of prison time. Another man, who is working on the virtual reality system, is closely attracted to another gorgeous virtual female model. Daryl tricks that employee into believing that the female virtual model can be brought to life in the form of a synthetically grown android body. The excited employee is ready to perform the procedure to bring that good-looking female virtual entity into the real world. As that employee moves into another lab, Daryl switches the module of the female virtual model and Sid, intending to bring Sid to real life. Before the procedure could be performed, the employee shows Daryl a snake he brought to life from the virtual reality world. Daryl is stunned to see that the virtual reality snake can regenerate itself in the real world when it is harmed. The employee lets Daryl know that the virtual subject would need glass to regenerate itself, and the only way to kill it is by removing its module from the body. Meanwhile, Parker is desperately missing his late family. The unthinkable takes place as Sid is brought into the real world. Right off the bat, Sid terminates the employee who was actually expecting the female virtual model to appear. Sid cuts his own finger to see if he can really regenerate himself, which he does. Daryl escapes the lab as he doesn't want to end his life at the hands of Sid. Billy tells Elizabeth that only Parker is capable enough to find and capture Sid, as he has been through the virtual reality system and knows what Sid would be up to in the real world. Initially hesitant, Elizabeth makes a deal with Parker. If Parker is able to find and capture Sid, Parker would be released from prison and will be a free man. If Parker fails to do so, he will serve the remainder of his prison time. Parker wonders what would happen if he decided to escape rather than find Sid for. Parker is told that he would be implanted with a microlocator and the entire Los Angeles Police Department would know where Parker believes that everyone on the team is using him to clean the entire mess that was caused by the creator of the virtual reality system. But he takes the offer as he would be assured freedom if he is successful. While the microlocator is being implanted in Parker, Carter asks to be a part of this mission alongside Parker. She is told that it could be dangerous, but she believes that she could be useful in finding Sid. Parker lets Billy know that he won't be responsible for anything dangerous that could potentially happen to Carter in this case. Carter has retracted some files regarding the Sid program and she believes that they should study the behavioral model of Sid before going out to find him. On the other hand, Sid has seemingly killed a family and taken most of that family's stuff. Parker and Carter arrive at Daryl's office. Carter tries to get into Daryl's computer so that they can fully understand the Sid model. Carter learns that Daryl used the personality of 200 different criminals in order to create Sid. Parker is dumbfounded to see that Daryl has also incorporated the personality of Grimes in Sid, and Parker thinks that Sid could use Grimes' personality to do something dangerous. Sid heads to a nightclub with evil intentions. Carter and Parker head to Carter's home so that she can meet her daughter. Carter learns from Billy on the phone about Parker's past history and how Grimes killed Parker's wife and daughter. Carter's daughter begins to have a sweet conversation with Parker. Sid kills one of the bartenders at the nightclub and terrorizes the rest of the people that are present there. Parker is informed about Sid's shenanigans at the club. He and Carter hurry to the club, and when they arrive, Parker and Sid engage in a long shootout. Parker is able to get the upper hand for the most part, but bullets don't have much effect on Sid as he uses glass to heal his wounds. Parker and Carter chase Sid after on while Sid continues to taunt Parker continuously. In the end, Parker is unable to catch Sid as he flees successfully. Parker tells Elizabeth and the rest of her team that he needs more time to find Sid. He believes that he is using the personality of Grimes in order to get inside the head of Parker. Parker says that Grimes had the personality of targeting hundreds of people at the same time and always looked for mass media coverage, which is what Sid did at the nightclub. Carter points out that Sid had behavioral limits in the virtual reality system, and in the real world he might be free from that constraint, pointing out that his program is evolving more than ever. Sid now heads to the mall, and when one of the guys present there irritates him, Sid terminates him for good as well. Soon, Carter and Parker arrive and watch the footage of Sid's recent murder. Parker notices that Sid was closely watching a mixed martial art match on a TV at the mall. The mixed martial art match is being held in a big auditorium, and Parker assumes that Sid might be heading there so that he can get big coverage. Sid causes havoc at the auditorium, including killing several men and teasing a beautiful-looking woman. Parker is unable to get a hold of Sid at the auditorium, and he follows Sid to the nearest train station. Sid holds a woman hostage, and Parker has got a clear target on Sid. Sid taunts Parker by saying, "This one's for you." Things go awry when Parker accidentally and fatally shoots the woman. People at the train station begin to blame Parker for the death of the woman. Parker tells Carter that in the past, whenever Grimes killed somebody, he would always say, "This one's for you" to Parker. Parker thinks that he didn't kill the woman and he was set up. He is arrested and Billy arrives at the scene too. Carter also believes that Parker couldn't have killed that woman as the bullet exited the woman's back, meaning she was shot from the back and Parker was facing the woman from the front. Parker remembers how Grimes had kept his family hostage while he was being interviewed by two reporters. Parker couldn't reach his family in time, which resulted in their death due to explosives going off. An enraged Parker began to kill everyone in sight, and he ended up taking his revenge by putting an end to Grimes. In this process, Parker unintentionally also ended the two innocent reporters. Out of nowhere, Sid arrives and frees Parker. Sid tells Parker that he loves facing off against him and how Grimes felt the same, which is why Sid has been using Grimes' personality all this time. Parker is also told by Sid how his microlocator implant can be used to terminate it. Parker calls Carter and informs her that Sid enjoys fighting his favorite opponent, which is Parker. Billy is now told that Parker didn't really kill the hostage woman. A furious Billy destroys the entire system, which was being used to monitor Parker through the microlocator in him before Elizabeth's associates could use it to terminate Parker for good. As Carter leaves to meet Parker, Sid arrives at Carter's home with more wicked intentions. Sid has now taken over a television studio and has held many of the studio workers hostage. Sid has now renamed the television show Death TV and plans on broadcasting the death of Carter's daughter in a few hours. Carter freaks out tremendously after watching what Sid has just said, and Parker promises to find Carter's daughter before anything horrific could take place. Carter notices that Daryl has arrived and is watching Sid with pure admiration. Thinking Daryl might know where his daughter is, Carter tries to elicit this information from Daryl by attacking him. Parker finds Sid at the studio and a long battle takes place after. When they are on the roof, Sid continues to taunt Parker after being severely wounded by bullet shots. Soon, Sid falls down hard, and before he could regenerate himself, Parker takes out the module from inside his head. Carter arrives with Daryl, and Daryl says that now they would never know where Carter's daughter is, as only Sid knew where he hit her. Parker comes up with the idea of using the virtual reality system to trick Sid that he is in the real world so that he could tell Parker where he has hidden Carter's daughter. In the virtual reality system, Parker learns that Sid had hidden Carter's daughter in one of the fan enclosures on the studio roof. Before Parker could get out, Daryl attacks Billy and sends Parker into an electric shock. Fortunately for Parker, Carter was present to help Parker and take down Daryl. Parker and Carter rush to the studio roof, and knowing Sid's mind games, Parker says that the place where Carter's daughter is hidden is full of booby traps. That turns out to be the case, and Parker takes matters into his own hands so that no one else could lose his life due to explosives. Parker enters the fan enclosure and has trouble deactivating the time bomb explosives. With his intellectual and smart capabilities, Parker is able to deactivate the explosive and reunites Carter with her daughter. Carter is thankful to Parker, who is relieved that he didn't have to witness another event that could have been similar to the death of his only family. Parker finishes off the mission by completely destroying Sid's module.